The first story in the anthology series Terror Tuesday, Extreme, opens with a tragic accident where Elle, and their mother find themselves battered and severely injured after their car flips over.
Elle, where are you?
And the mother are somewhat conscious, but Ella has dragged herself out of the car and is standing smack in the middle of the road.
Ella, no, get out of the road.
But as is customary in horror movies, a truck arrives out of nowhere and kills Elle on the spot. The narrative moves forward in time to show us that is under medical observation and is being interviewed regarding the psychological effects of the accident.
I'm taking my medication and, I feel like I'm becoming more and more numb with each passing day.
As for her mother, she sometimes acts normally, but then there are moments where she hallucinates that Ella is still around and makes food for 3 people, even though there are just 2 in the house. Things take a turn for the worse when A's mother brings home a doll that supposedly has the spirit of Ella in it.
This doll, it has Elle's spirit. I can feel her.
He says that, firstly, the doll must be fed thrice a day, as if she is a living, breathing member of the family.
Secondly, the doll must be put inside the box that it came in before midnight, and there's no way the doll's caretaker can miss that deadline.
And thirdly, the doll can't go beyond the boundary created by a sacred string that has been tied around the house. Or else the spell that has been used to bind Elle's spirit to that doll will break.
Seeing all this absurdity, had I driven properly on that fateful night or allowed my mother to drive, maybe everything that's unfolding wouldn't have happened.
It was an accident, You should sleep easy knowing that Ella doesn't blame you for what happened to her.
Right after that conversation, the flickering of the lights and the presence of something supernatural draw to the living room, where she finds the Ella doll sitting and looking at a static screen on the TV. When turns off the television, she sees the doll's head suddenly turning towards her and smiling abruptly. Before she can investigate if the doll is sentient or if she's just seeing things, I's mother snatches the remote from I's hand and turns the TV back on because Elle, or her spirit, evidently likes to watch white noise. I stands there contemplating the eerie events, feeling a mix of guilt and confusion. She breaks the second rule by taking the doll out of the box after midnight and calling out to Elle.
Thank you, I and Mother, for bringing me out of the darkness of the afterlife and putting my soul back in my home. I forgive you for the accident.
However, things take a dark turn as Ella begins accusing I of jealousy.
Mother hates you because you are Father's favorite and even resemble him to some extent.
Where is the father? And why is he so reviled? Well, the father fell in love with another woman and abandoned Elle, and their mother. So the mother obviously hates him, but she apparently also hates I because she sees too much of the father's characteristics in her. Anyway, the following day, I confronts her mother for not taking the medications.
Mom, you have to take your meds. This isn't helping anyone.
And she tries to get rid of the doll by throwing it beyond the sacred boundary.
This doll, it's tearing us apart. It has to go.
This leads to a physical altercation between the 2 ladies, and as a result of it, the clothes on the doll are ripped off.
No, you don't understand. Elle needs us.
I is shocked to see all kinds of incantations on its body.
What is all this? What have you done?
But the mother shoves I to the ground and takes the Elle doll back into the house with her.
You will never separate us.
Realizing that her mother is a lost cause, I decides to leave her for good.
I'm sorry, Mom, I can't do this anymore. Goodbye.
When she is about to exit the premises, the mother attacks I, seemingly on the orders of the doll, and incapacitates her. When I resumes consciousness, she finds herself tied to a chair.
What is happening?
She is at the dinner table with her mother and the Ella doll. The meal of the day is I's pet macaw, which the mother has lovingly cooked in a sickening broth.
No, Mom, please, not my macaw.
I manages to avoid chewing on the bird's head, but that only aggravates her mother.
You are just like your father, so stubborn.
The mother starts lamenting about her husband's betrayal and how similar I is to her father in terms of their stubbornness.
Your father is to blame for all our miseries, and you are to blame for Elle's death.
She says that she is going to make everything right again by dying and reuniting with Elle along with I.
I will make everything right again. We will be together, with Elle.
She brings out a bottle of insecticide and chugs down a glass full of the toxic liquid.
No, Mom, stop.
When she tries to get I to consume it too, the girl manages to get away from her mother.
Stay away from me.
The mother then tries to stab I, but since the poison starts to affect her system, she fails.
I.
In our little sister's ending, I realizes that the whole event has been happening in her head.
It was all in my head.
Elle and their mother both died in the car accident.
They died in the accident.
In order to cope with the loss, I was the one who got the dolls, which had the spirit of her family members in them.
I got the dolls. It was me.
I hadn't been talking to anyone on the phone.
I wasn't talking to anyone.
I hadn't been taking her medications.
I haven't been taking my meds.
Her debilitating mental condition, grief, and conflicted thoughts about her father, mother, and sister caused her mind to cook up this supernatural episode about her mother going stir-crazy and doing all kinds of weird things with a doll with Ella's spirit in it.
My mind, it created all of this.
The shocking truth left I in a state of profound sorrow and confusion as she grappled with the reality of her own mind's creation. The weight of her grief and guilt was overwhelming, leaving her to confront the haunting reality of her own mind. The concluding scene where I cries uncontrollably is open to interpretation. You can see it as the moment I finally lets go of Ella and her mother, thereby allowing herself to move on in life.
I have to let go. I have to move on.
Or you could see it as the moment where I loses control of her mind as she is unable to cope with the fact she is responsible for the death of not just her sister, but her mother as well.
I can't handle this.
The ambiguity of I's breakdown leaves the audience pondering the true depth of her grief and guilt.
What have I done? How can I ever forgive myself?